In the last video, I showed y'all the core gameplay, and I also talked about my philosophy behind making this game. It's been about a month since the last video, so I just want to briefly go over what I've made. Really, the main things that I worked on in the last month are the main menu, the character select screen, and the settings. Video settings. And you might be asking why those, that's so random, but actually no, they're not random, because see, the main menu is so important. Let's say you want to open up a restaurant. The first thing that you should do when opening a restaurant is create the menu, because everything that you're going to offer is on the menu. There's not a single dish, a single plate that won't be offered except that it's on the menu. And so basically your scope, the scope of your restaurant and what you serve, what you offer is all in the menu. It's almost like an outline for your business almost. That's how a fighting game or, racing games and other types of games that are similar, that's how these games work. They have a menu that gives you everything that the game has to offer. There's not a single game mode that's accessible except that it's on the main menu. Creating the main menu now gives me a defined scope so that I don't encounter scope creep, which is whenever your game's scope slowly gets larger and larger until it just becomes so large that you can't even finish it. And then that's whenever you end up seeing these people working on games for like 4 years, 5 years, and still they're not finished. And it's like, bro, come on. That's why I worked on the main menu now. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we'll boot up the game. See a little splash screen, whatever. This is Nizaal. This is the placeholder name of the game. I don't actually plan on naming the game Nizaal unless Nizaal happens to, stick. If you can come up with a better name, tell me. But Nizaal pretty much is Arabic for combat. But yeah, so we got the name, got the version, me, press any button. And now we're in the main menu. There's two main components of the main menu.
Stop! Please, dear Lord, stop. Dude, I was just editing the video and I was just like, dang, this is boring. And sure, I can cut out the boring parts, but I was like, dang, the whole thing's boring. So I'm just gonna redo the whole video because yikes, bro. Yeah. I'm not trying to keep you here forever, so I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. Cool? Basically, here we have the main menu. If you remember from the last devlog, I talked about how the game is Muslim themed. So that's why it's green. That's why there's this Islamic geometry kind of motif in the background. And that's also why the buttons are on the right side of the screen instead of the left side because Arabic goes from right to left. Although if your game's language settings are set to a left to right language, then it's not gonna be like this, so don't worry. And then this spot on the other side of the screen that's empty is supposed to have like a big old picture like how you see in other games. I just don't have any art yet, so it is what it is. And yeah, as you can see here, all the buttons are made out of liquid glass. Bro, the liquid glass took me forever to make because I have like no experience making shaders. So, bruh, like, this was hard. This was very hard. But, we eventually got it to work. So, we as in me. Let's look at the character select screen. If you input anything at all, then the cursor appears. And then just like in other character select screens for like Smash Bros, you can hover over the thing and then select your guy, get the AI going. I can set his difficulty to like 9 or whatever, or 8, 7, whatever I want. I can add a bunch of dudes, and then these cursors, these little pucks, they also move each other so that they're not overlapping. And yeah, go ahead and start the game, and we're in. The last thing to show you is the video settings. The video settings here, you can set the resolution scale. You know how it goes. I mean, do I have to explain the video settings? I think you know how video settings work. But the other question you might be asking is, why does the video screen look like this? The buttons look like this. The exit game looks like this. And then the character select screen looks like this. It's kind of clashing, isn't it? And you're right. It's clashing because halfway through making this menu, I realized that the theme that I was going with, which was like a Frutiger Arrow, kind of dark arrow aesthetic, which if you remember from like the 2000s, Frutiger Arrow, like Windows 7, Windows Vista, pretty much everything was just Frutiger Arrow. And it's a very futuristic aesthetic. And I wanted that aesthetic for the main menu. I thought it would have been cool. But the game's aesthetic overall is not futuristic. In fact, it's the opposite. The characters and the stages that you fight in are going to take place in like the old times. So it doesn't really make sense to, you know? And then also the other issue is that this liquid glass is really bad for the phone. I didn't realize this until I finished making it, and then I tested it out on the phone. It's laggy. It's really laggy. I'll show you. Hold on one second. If I boot up the game, Echo Game Presents, and then watch. All right, so check it, right? It's not that laggy right now, but it's actually running at like 50 frames per second. But if I go into the settings, oh my God. And then, yikes. I don't know why it's doing that, bro. I have no idea. So yeah, apparently liquid glass is super laggy, and it makes sense because I mean, I know a guy who has an iPhone 13 and he put the iOS 26 liquid glass on his phone, and he said it's kind of laggy. So I mean, like, I don't think that the Samsung Galaxy A16 can handle liquid glass. I didn't realize that until I made it, and then now it's like, oh crap, all that work I put in, all that time, those hours of trying to mess with shaders, is all for nothing. It's not for nothing, because I think that I learned a lot about how shaders work, and that information, that experience will come in handy for the future. It was a good little experiment, but I think that the menu, it functionally is going to be the same. I think what I have now is pretty good, but in terms of its aesthetic, I think that's definitely something that's going to have to change in the future. Oh well. Now that the main menu's done, I plan on working on the training mode. I think that's going to be a very useful thing to work on next, because just like how you, the player, can learn a lot about how certain characters work and how to set things up in a fight and yada yada yada, me as the developer can benefit a lot from training mode, because like it's basically a debug mode. I can tweak things however I want, and yeah. So training modes are really useful. That's going to be the next thing I work on. And yeah, so I look forward to it. I hope you look forward to it. And if you're interested in keeping up with the progress, then you already know what to do. And yeah, and that's all I got. Stay tuned, and you know what I'm saying? Like, peace. Or whatever. Oh, no, that's cringe. See ya. Oh, that's so cringe also.